fix everything for the next game, right?
It just seems like it's 35 years of coaching, 20 years as a head coach. It's amazing the mistakes we're going to make in that first game, and you just don't. You got to play. You got to go out there and play. The best way to get great at playing football is to play football. Unfortunately, that's going to be more injuries the more you play the game the actual right way. So it's a fine line you're always walking.
Is the best thing to obviously to win the game, but then to have things that you can improve on and be able to go to practice with things to improve on, even after a win. Certainly better than having to fix things after a loss.
Well, that's always when you improve the most. Is when you get from game 1 to game 2. Your team just gets a whole lot better once you get it on video and you can coach it off the video. The eye in the sky doesn't lie. They're the best players in their class their entire life. So from the time they're little bitty kids, they haven't been corrected much in their lives. So the video shows them like the mistake, and they learn more from watching their own mistakes than they do listening to me tell them about their mistakes.
I know on Monday you used the analogy they were the best kickball players when they were 5 years old.
Yeah, they always were chosen first. They weren't like Jeff Traylor that was a last round draft pick. They were chosen at the top of the lineup their entire lives. So the first game's a little dose of humility, especially for the young guys. The young guys are going to get a real rude awakening Saturday. They just move so much faster, but we'll be fine.
What would you say are pleasant surprises from training camp? Players that have moved up on the depth chart that you liked, and some of the things that stood out in these last few weeks.
Oh, I don't know if there's any surprises. You pretty much know what you're getting because most of our roster is returning. The transfer portal, your incoming freshmen would be where obviously your surprises come from because you didn't know what to expect. But all of our guys that are returning, I would say they've all matured, progressed, and they're right where we thought they'd be. But I would not say, surprise would be too strong of a word.
All right, let's talk about the quarterback battle. You've got a lefty and a righty, so you've got go to the bullpen either way, I guess, if you need to. But talk about the battle and how those two players it's kind of weird because for the first time in a long time, it's not Frank Harris, it's somebody else.
Well, I told ESPN today when they were trying to press me on who it was going to be, me and the two quarterbacks and the coordinator, we know who it is. The one that's not chosen deserved to win it too. You just can't play two of them. You can rotate safeties, you can rotate running backs. We can rotate everything on the field except for maybe your punter. We even rotate our kickers. So, you can rotate every. I'm just not going to rotate my quarterbacks. And it stinks for the other kid because he's done nothing wrong. And they're both great quarterbacks. And you always hurt for the guy that doesn't get it. That's the one that kills you. In high school when I was doing it, the second best one went and played safety. He played slot receiver. He still played.
Right.
In college, when you don't win the job, you don't play. And that's the hardest part about doing this is you're making one kid really happy and you're crushing another one.
You have made the single-digit number thing work since day one. The players love it. They buy into it. They compete for those single digits. I'm sure they politic their teammates to get voted for. And we have another 2-1-0 this year for both offense and defense.
It's exhausting. Every year I tell my coaches I'm not doing this again. This is the last time I'm doing this. It brings on so many other things, but the juice is worth the squeeze. It means so much to those kids. It's so important to them. It's just better to keep doing it. So, the zeros will be worn by Jamal Ligion on defense, and who's here tonight, and Oscar Cardenas, who will be wearing it on offense, who's here tonight. The 2 on defense will be worn by Brandon Brown, who wore it last year. And Joe Evans is really loving the 1 because he says it gives him a slimming effect.
Yeah.
So he's excited about that. On offense, number 2 will be Owen McCowan. And then the wide receiver will be the same number 1 it's been for the last few years, who had a good report today on his knee. He's progressing in the right way. We're very hopeful for JT. We don't know when, but we're very hopeful, which is last year we just never felt good about it.
He's got his vertical going. It's when he cuts. He's got to get confidence in that, right?
Started doing that the last 2 or 3 days, and he's had no pain, no swelling. Feels really good about cutting. That was the big day for me, is to watch him change directions. And he thought he'd be really sore after it, and he wasn't sore at all. He even, like, Coach, I thought you somehow numbed me up. I said, let me tell you something. I'm not going to get involved in that business. I didn't numb you up at all.
Yeah.
That was just you out there, and you're just doing good. So I'm excited to hear him talk like that.
Well, it's great to hear that he's progressing, and hopefully we see him catching a bunch of passes later in the year. It's the UTSA Coaches Show. It's presented by UT Health San Antonio. Let's talk about those other wide receivers. Devin McEwen's back, Chris Carpenter's back, Willie McCoy, and you added J.J. Sparkman and plenty of others. You got a deep roster there.
We do. You named a lot of them, but we feel good about all of them. David Amador, Jaron Randall, Jace Wilson. I don't know if you mentioned DJ Allen or not. You might have. We feel good about all of them. You'll see a bunch of them out there Saturday, and Joe's done a really good job recruiting that room and developing that room. And we'll miss Cephas, we'll miss Taki, but there'll be some new guys step up.
Those single-digit guys also trickled into the offensive line. They can't obviously wear that number because of the position they play, but to have like 3 or 4 guys on the offensive line get single-digit votes was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I remember in the team meeting, CJ, who was not familiar, CJ James, our center, who's not familiar with this system, he literally raised his hand and goes, "Coach, what do the old linemen do? Like, what do we do?" I'm like, so he must have had some good confidence he was going to be chosen on it. So, yeah, those guys will get a triangle on their jersey and maybe even on their helmet. I'm not for sure on that. But they get honored and recognized. As far as that goes, that was 4 chosen: Mekhi Hart, Corey Godinay, Vinley, and then we had CJ. So I'm not sure we've ever had 4 chosen before. If we have, I don't remember, but we might have. JJ will probably know a lot more than me. Maybe you even know, Andy.
Yeah, I think that's the most on the offensive line.
I believe so. And we got good news on Mekhi today. Mekhi had a good report. That's the most encouraged we've been for him. Him or JT will not be out there Saturday, but I would say both those guys are trending up, and that's the first time we've said that in a long time.
Is this the deepest you've been, especially on the offensive line? And we know how quickly that can get not so deep if you have the wrong people going down. But do you feel like you have good depth at every position?
I'll let you know in a few weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a lot of great names. We got a lot of great length. We've got great athletic ability. We'll see. I'm afraid I'm old school as heck, man. I got to see it. I'm not into recruiting rankings. I'm not into predictions. I'm into
wins,
productivity. I want to see production.
Getting better, right?
I got guys on my staff that they might not look like the sexiest coaches in the world, but they freaking produce, right? I got players the same way. They might look sexy, but do they produce? We fixing to find out. They look the part. I don't want any lures on my team. You know what a lure is, right?
Yeah,
it
the siren, right?
It looks good, but it doesn't ever catch any fish.
Exactly.
I mean, the hooks.
I've had some of those before.
There you go. I can't have any lures.
You got to have the right bait, right?
No doubt. But you got to have a hook.
Yeah.
To get it set and get it caught.
All right, we've got more coming up. We'll hear from the players with Oscar Cardenas and Jamal Ligion. We'll preview Kennesaw and get into some of the other stuff in the back half of the show as well. Every time the runners score a touchdown and make a 2-point conversion this year, it's an 8-point possession. And one lucky fan will win $888 thanks to Wainwright Injury Attorneys. They're the official injury attorneys of UTSA Athletics. We had several lucky winners last year, so go to the promotions page on the UTSA app and register to win for your $888 today. And you can also win a brand new 2024 Nissan Frontier pickup truck in the Ancira Punt for a Pickup contest. Go to goutsa.com/promotions to register. Then you could be one of 3 finalists on the field at the Temple game to punt to win a brand new truck, courtesy of the Ancira family of dealerships and the All-American Car Wash. It's the Jeff Traylor Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Jeff Traylor Radio Show. We're live from Chicken and Pickle this evening. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance members can get 2 free tickets to Roadrunner men's basketball and baseball games and football games when you redeem online. Become a Texas Farm Bureau Insurance member and visit goutsa.com/TFB tickets to learn more. Jamal Ligion joins us on the show this evening. Welcome aboard. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Very well. What's it mean to you to be one of the zeros this year to get that coveted number?
Man, it's an honor and blessing, man, to be chosen by my peers and my coaches to be get to wear number 0. So
you've been around for a while. You've pretty much seen all the ups and downs and mostly ups in the Jeff Traylor era. Talk about some of your favorite memories and the path and the journey to get to where you are now.
Well, that's crazy you asked that. I was just talking to Martin about that, man. The first championship we won, man, just getting to feel that experience and that feeling, man, is nothing like it. There's no other feeling that'll get to match that. Like, that's a unique experience.
Jeff, you've had him as kind of the anchor of your defense for quite some time.
Yeah, I've just known him literally forever. You know, he played for my brother at Tyler Lee, and it's a little. They bust his tail quite a bit. They call him Jamal Traylor. He gets the favorite child syndrome quite a bit. Started every game since he's been here. Doesn't say much. He's just a really great leader by example. His father, Dwayne, his mother, Erica, they've just raised a heck of a young man. And us getting him to flip from North Texas our very first week here, they messed it up more than we did good. I kind of stayed back and I felt bad coming here so late. He had his mind made up for a long time, but they panicked and pressed, and he's just too good of a kid. You just can't treat him that way. And their mistake was our blessing, and it's been a great 5-year run, and he's gonna have another great year. He's gonna lead a great defense this year. We're really excited about our defense again.
So what was the magic words to get you to come to UTSA?
Man, like you said, it's really like it wasn't necessary. Well, it was the family vibe, just our experience, our history, knowing Coach Traylor and his brother being my head coach in high school, that helped. But man, like he said, man, it's really what they didn't do, you know.
We've had some epic matchups against North Texas, so that's got to even be more sweet when you know that you were almost there, but now you're winning those battles and causing them some misery.
Most definitely.
And we can talk more freely about it now because that staff is gone.
Yeah.
You really don't want to pour salt on a wound if they're still there. But since they're all gone, I mean, we were at Topgolf just playing. He was having a great time. And they called him and kind of shamed him a little bit, and it upset him. Him and his mom left. He went to the hotel. I called Erica just to make sure he's okay. She says he's upstairs working out. He's really upset at the hotel. And I just told him, like, look, you go on your trip to North Texas. We're not going to bother you. And you just let me know what you want to do. And he called me I think he might have FaceTimed me on the way home. And he told me he was coming. And we were really excited. Their loss has been our gain, I can promise you.
Yeah, we have a new feature this year, too, called the USAA Heroes of the Week. And they serve our military as the official military appreciation sponsor of UTSA. And we're going to have a couple of Gridiron Heroes with us tonight. We'll talk to Oscar about this as well during our USAA Heroes segment. But talk about what he does just as a player, just as a human being on this team to kind of show the leadership that you're talking about without having to do so vocally as much as maybe others would.
Well, like Rashad and Frank, to get the 0 lets you know what his peers think about him. So it's like we talk about our brand, our 2-0 triangle of toughness. When your image is a certain thing and then your identity matches your image, that's Jamal. Who you see right here is the man that he always is. He's very tough. He gets his teammates lined up. They respect him. He doesn't talk a ton, but when he speaks, he's like E.F. Hutton. They all listen.
Kennesaw State, you're going to face a little bit of a unique option game this week. Talk about that challenge.
Yeah, man, we got to be very disciplined, stay assignment sound, read our keys, have our eyes in the right place, and be very physical.
What's you don't see that a lot because most people are just zone read out of the shotgun, and they run the option a little bit different than Army does because the quarterback rarely goes under center.
Right.
Talk about the difference in that challenge.
Man, like I said, man, we play our game, man. So as long as we play our game, man, we'll be just fine.
Jeff, what do you think of his pro aspirations? Are the scouts giving you any indication if he can be at the next level and have a chance to play there?
Jamal's whole career, he's been told he's too short, he's too slow, he's too this, he's too that. He'll go do just what Rashad Wisdom did. They told Rashad he was too short, and he was too slow, and he was too this. And you'll look up, and he'll be on a roster because when you get him in there, I got a few guys on my team like that. Brandon Brown, too short, too this, too that. Wait and see when it's over. Oscar, they're going to say to this, to that, to this. And you're going to look up like next year, you're going to see, Cephas on a roster, Wisdom on a roster, Leroy on a roster, McCormick on a roster. McCormick, too short, too slow.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I'd like to make his salary when I was 22, 23, 24 years old, $19,000 at Big Sandy. In the same as making the NFL money.
That would be pretty important right there. Jamal, all the best to you this year. Continued success. I'm sure we'll have you on some pregame shows throughout the year as well. And have a good weekend this week against Kennesaw.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's Jamal Ligion, everyone. Thank you for being a part of that. Every 2 seconds in the U.S., someone needs blood, and every time you donate blood, you're saving up to 3 lives. Visit southtexasblood.org to schedule your donation because when you give, they live. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network.
You're listening.
Pickle. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show. UT Health San Antonio is the official healthcare partner of UTSA Athletics. See how UT Health San Antonio's brightest minds are making lives better at WeMakeLivesBetter.org. Oscar Cardenas is going to join us. I think where'd Jeff go? He's over there. He'll be back in a second.
Don't worry about it.
We can kill this segment until he gets back. You're one of the other zeros. You got that honor this year, but we're number 9, so you've been a single-digit guy your whole time. Talk about getting that honor from your teammates.
It's a big honor for me, especially I got to fill in some shoes from Frank Harris, so we'll see how that goes. I think I can do it.
All right, so what's it like getting in a huddle or even just getting when you're not in a huddle and you have Owen or Eddie Lee talking to you instead of Frank for the first time in forever?
Everybody would think it's a little bit different, but it's really not. They're both really good leaders. They're both mature, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do this year.
What do they each do differently or similar?
They both can pass it very hard. I can tell you about that in practice, but they both can run. They're doing a really good job with the playbook, and I'm excited.
Is it a different throw than Frank did? Is it get to you quicker, or how does that work?
Very much quicker.
All right. Let's talk about him getting the 0 and the fact that he's been in some big plays over the years for UTSA, and I'm sure he'll make some more big ones this year.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. If you know Oscar and his family, it's just who they are. They're just cut from a different cloth. He's very similar to Jamal. They both could have leveraged me. They both could have come in and threatened to get in the transfer portal. They both could have gotten way more money playing at other places. Neither one of those kids has ever walked in my office and asked for a dime. They've never asked what any other player on the team is getting. They just take care of their job, and they're the absolute best. And it's not surprising at all. They're both in the 0. I will say the kids who were 2 and 1 got a ton of votes too, but him and Jamal were, really different.
Oscar, what is it about this culture that makes everybody that way? I'm sure everybody wants to get as much money as they can. They want to get as much notoriety as they can, but it's like it's family first here. And how do you see that as a player? He says you could leverage for a bigger deal, but you didn't. What makes it that way? Because UTSA's basically lost 3 players in 2 years.
So let me say this before he answers. They're not all that way. They're not.
Yeah, okay.
I've got a few that are not that way.
Have you given them the Mike Gundy treatment?
Most of them are that way. Now I'll let you answer the question, Oscar.
Go for that.
I mean, it all starts with him. He always says we're a reflection of him, and he does a really good job of teaching that culture, and we've done a really good job of buying in, and it's been a good deal for us for the past 5 years.
And that started 5 years ago, and during a COVID year, and doing Zoom meetings and all that kind of stuff. You kind of had to figure out a way to get together so that you could get a team together before the game started.
Yeah, and I'm one of the last ones that was with the last head coach, and we only have about maybe 6 left from then, and so I can tell you right now it's a different thing from 2019, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it.
And winning helps that, but there's a culture that makes that possible.
Yes.
Yeah, I just spoke to my staff. I mean, I got emotional just in the staff meeting a while ago, and I'm going to try not to right now. So many of these guys, they've chosen to stay here. Mm-hmm. They've won championships. We have 6 or 8 players on national awards. All of them could have gotten the transfer portal. All of them could have made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they're not making that here. And I told my staff, I challenged them. I'm like every call on the sheet Saturday has got to put these kids in the best position to be successful. They have chosen to ride with us, and we have got to get them what they deserve. And what I think they deserve is crazy, crazy high, but I think they deserve that.
Well, I'm guessing that college football playoff is a goal for sure.
100%. We're trying to get in that top 12 for sure.
Get that conference championship and be the highest ranked, and at least be the 12th seed, if not higher.
Oh, yes, please.
All right, we talked back at Media Day up in Arlington, and you told me the NFL scouts challenged you to either gain weight or lose weight so you could play in the NFL. Talk about that journey for you, because it's not easy to back away from the table sometimes.
No, it's not. I've done that my whole life, actually. But finally, stepped away from it. But yeah, so they asked me, or they told me to I could either gain 20 pounds and be an O lineman or lose 20 pounds, and I wanted to lose 20 pounds. So I lost 25. I'm at 260 right now, and I don't really. Thank you. But
You feel better?
100%. My joints are very good. I'm a little bit faster, and I'm still in the playbook right now, so I'm liking it so far.
You can ask him on the way up the stairs a while ago. Allie just took a picture of me for social media, and it wasn't very flattering. And I asked Oscar, I said, is this a bad angle, or does it look like I put on some weight? And of course, he's a good kid, right? He's like, no, Coach, it's a terrible angle.
I'm an honest kid. Honest.
I said, Oscar, you might have to tell me, really, what's the secret? I think I need to drop a few. He said, it's portions, Coach. It's portions. You got to cut your portions down. So I'm trying to be like Oscar.
So you eat till content, not to full.
Yes, 100%. So like I said, portion control, like my daily average calorie intake was 1,900 calories, which is nothing at all. Like a regular athlete should be having about 4,500 calories minimum. Right. So I cut it down a lot, and I got to where I wanted to be.
And then you had to get in the weight room to kind of balance all that out so that you stayed strong.
Exactly, yeah. So that was the big issue with the strength staff. I was really making sure that I was going to keep my strength on that, because losing 25 pounds is a big deal and in a short amount of time. So I know I needed to keep that strength. We're
going to talk about this a little bit later, but you've made some unbelievable catches in your career. There's one that's on the mural in the left. Will be there forever, I hope.
Yes.
But when you look back at the highlights of your past, do you even surprise yourself that you were able to do what you did?
I do, definitely. I know that on that UNT is my favorite one. A lot of people say the UAB one is good, and that one obviously is good. But UNT, Frank told me to get open, I got open, and he placed it right there, and I just put my hand up. It was just a reaction, honestly, but that one's definitely very special to me.
So there was a route called, I'm sure, but he said, get open?
Yes, 100. He said, get open. I said, yes, sir.
I guess you let them improvise a little bit when they can pull off plays like that.
No, it's called Y-cross. He has the option.
If
the middle of the field is open, he gets to take it. If it's closed, he bends it. Come on, Oscar. Give us a little credit.
Okay.
Now the catch, jumping the linebacker, dragging him 20 yards, that's all God-given ability. That's all Oscar.
But you and Frank have to, at least when you had that play, you have to read each other. He's got to know where you're going.
Frank doesn't care. He's going to throw the ball to Oscar. That's all that's going to happen.
Only in 2 minutes, apparently.
We always say on the broadcast the tight end's always open. You seemingly are always open.
I know everybody sees it. I need the quarterbacks to see it.
Yeah, and hopefully they see it a lot this year as well. What do you think of playing Kennesaw on Saturday?
They're really good. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, who's Kennesaw?" I didn't even know where they were from. They're in Georgia, if y'all didn't know.
Outside of Atlanta, yeah.
But they're really good. Number 11 always comes to my mind, and he's the boundary safety right now. So he's a big dude, and he's not afraid of the box at all. And then they have a defensive lineman, number 94. He's really good too.
Totally agree.
And he's very physical, so we're gonna have to get after him. It's not gonna be an easy game, especially if they bring their best.
All right. Well, have a great game on Saturday. Have a great game for the rest of the year, and we hope we're seeing you this time next year on an NFL roster as well, playing tight end for somebody.
That'd be
no doubt
awesome.
he will be. No doubt.
Awesome. That's Oscar Cardenas, everyone. Compare HEB prices to any store. They check and compare thousands of prices on the things you use to gear up for the game, so you can fill up your cart without emptying your wallet. When it comes to UTSA football, no store does more than your HEB, a proud supporter of UTSA athletics. And enjoy Bud Light while cheering on the runners. Bud Light is the official beer of UTSA athletics. Birds up, buds up all season long. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. Back out here at Chicken and Pickle, it's the UTSA Jeff Traylor Radio Show. UTSA takes on Kennesaw State this weekend. More on the details of that coming up. Chicken and Pickle, good food, good friends, great fun. That's Chicken and Pickle, delicious food, cold drinks, yard games, and pickleball for all. Chicken and Pickle, we're out here at UTSA Boulevard in Vance Jackson. Time to scout the opponent, and that is Kennesaw State, and it starts with an option attack, but a little bit different than what Army has done or maybe some other teams have done. How do you assess the Owls this week?
I think it's important just that we all kind of understand a little bit about them. They knew they were going to go to FBS last year, so they intentionally redshirted 75% of their roster. I can't even imagine how you made it through a season when you redshirt 3/4 of your team. So imagine trying to play kids 4 games and that's it, the entire season, and make your roster work. And what's more impressive, if you look at their last 2 games, Sam Houston, who moved up to FBS last year, beat them 24-21, and then they won their last game 63-3. So he did a really good job. He's been there all 10 years. That's very rare in college football, and he's had the same staff most of that decade. They've won a lot of games until here recently, and they played really good defense last year with all those. I think they've given up 18 points a game last year. So they're stingy. They're very well coached. They're a proud program in Georgia. Tons of players from Georgia, South Carolina, Florida, and we all know that's SEC country.
You said earlier in the week they're better than we want them to be.
Yeah, I saw their record, and I didn't really hear much about them. And then I turned the video on, and I started studying them, and I'm like, Jiminy Cricket, this is not really what I wanted. That option game, like I told my guys today, we could grade out 10 pluses on defense, and one guy be wrong, and you're up in the press box, the voice of the UTSA Roadrunners going, it looks like the Roadrunners haven't been practicing all spring, and it's just one guy that did his job. If one guy takes the dive and the other one that's supposed to take the quarterback doesn't, then they're got a touchdown. And they've got good enough athletes, they're going to score.
Well, we've seen that with Army over the years, too, how they've effectively run it.
I teased my defense today. I remember the very first year they told me we were good. We've got this thing down. I think second, third play of the game, I saw that big fullback I was worried about rumbling down the sideline. I said, that doesn't look very good to me, Andy.
No, it doesn't. I would imagine this is a big challenge for them because they're moving up from FCS to FBS. And the first game of the year, they know about the accolades that UTSA's had. This is kind of like their Super Bowl to begin the season.
Yeah, we've been watching them and listening to them, and they're definitely making it out to be that. We'll get their best. I mean, they're excited about coming to the Alamo Dome. They're excited about coming to San Antonio. I'm sure I've heard them say this. They've looked at the trajectory of ours. We've been playing ball for 13 years, going on 14. Mm-hmm. Their trajectory is similar, and I think it's a real good opportunity for them to convince their kids that we're similar, just a few years ahead of them.
All right. How about their defense? What do they have their tendencies there?
They've been a 4 down. They've been an odd. Last year they changed around quite a bit. Was that because all the guys redshirting? We're not sure. And they'll roll their safety. They'll play 3 deep. They'll play cover 4. I mean, they do a lot of stuff. And what's impressive, there's a lot of coaches that do a lot of stuff. Their kids do their stuff correctly. And we expect them. Like I told you, they gave up 18 points a game last year on defense while they're redshirting 75% of the roster. So it's impressive.
We talked about this a little bit earlier with both Oscar and Jamal. The fact that you've lost 3 players to the portal in the last 2 years, and you've been a positive gain with getting players from the portal to build your roster, especially on the offensive line. I think that's amazing when so many non-Power 5 teams are losing players. It's kind of like a minor league to the next level.
Yeah, we've got to stay on it. I mean, we can't do too much about it, but we have done very well. We've lost 3, and we've picked up. Well, you wait till you count them out this year. I'll let y'all count them out, like how many guys we had transfer in. You're going, dang, that's a really good player.
Yeah.
And what's even more amazing, I feel like probably 7 of them would have been voted into single digits if they'd just been here longer. They're high IQ, they're high character, they fit right into our culture. So I'm really excited about it. We'd be very hypocritical to complain about our 3 and then not brag about probably the 30 we picked up in the last 3 or 4 years. And I'm expecting huge things from these guys again. That's not to make our boosters think we still don't need all the help we can get with 210inspired.org and 210 City fans, because we still need all the help we can get.
Yeah, we're going to touch more on that in the next segment. But we have another feature this year on the show. It's called the Goodwill Drive of the Week. And Goodwill will take your donations and turn them into careers, training, and education for those in need and fuels the San Antonio economy. Your Goodwill donation gets you free tickets to UTSA games. Bring your gently used clothing and household items to Goodwill today. So the drive of the week will be a feature going forward after each game. But since there is no game that we haven't recently played except the bowl game, Jeff and I decided we would talk about the drive of the last 4 years. I'm kind of partial to the UAB one. You and Oscar kind of partial to the North Texas one. Both were pretty special. How do you rate those two drives?
Well, obviously because of the moment, and we won the UAB game on such a dramatic fashion. And you had to remember as well, they overturned a call where I thought we had the first down on the previous drive before, so that we got another chance to do it and to get it down there. One of the plays that people don't remember on that drive, JT catches the ball about 8 yards from the sideline. We have no timeouts left. He breaks 2 tackles and runs directly sideways to get out of bounds to stop the clock. If JT does not do that, JT doesn't catch that fade to the sideline.
Right.
Frank does not scramble to the 1 yard line, and we don't get the pop pass to Oscar. So there's a lot more to that drive. I prefer the North Texas one just because I'm such a good friend of Phil Bennett's. I love Phil. He's a hero of mine. Him going so crazy on their sideline when they thought the game was over, and we clearly had the first down, and I knew we did, and then to break their hearts even more. Even though he's one of my heroes, I enjoyed that dagger. Because I love Phil, and if he's listening right now, which I know he's not, this is meant with much respect, Phil. He's from East Texas. He's from Marshall. Him and his brother Sam and his brother Jerry, we've known each other forever, even though they're 25 years older than me. But one that doesn't get talked about enough because it ended bad, the drive to go to overtime versus Houston was remarkable. To get that in, get it down, get the field goal up, and get it in. I just knew we had the game won when we got that thing done, but we won't discuss that.
Well, to me, the one thing that we forget about the UAB game is Dwayne McBride was running for ever many yards he wanted, and they didn't go for it on 4th and 1, and it was 4th and 3 inches maybe.
Andy, it would have been near as dramatic. We would have stopped him. We only had to go that far.
Well, that would have been
He would
better.
not have got the first down, Andy. What are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm with you. I agree with
Yeah.
you. It's probably why Bill retired.
Yeah, that was the play right there, and especially the game that McBride had that day.
And I knew it. One of my good friends is their offensive coordinator, and I was watching them over there argue with Bill, and I've known Bill forever. He's a defensive coach.
Yep.
I told my guys he's going to punt it. I don't care what that data says, what that analyst says. He's going to punt the football and think we can't drive 80 yards with no timeouts, and that's right when we get going, Andy.
I'm good friends with their radio announcer, and he said the same thing. He goes, they should have gone for it.
Yeah. I do believe my guys would have stopped him somehow, but I've got to say that, right?
Exactly. All right, we got one more segment to go, and we'll talk about some other things and get us ready for the game coming up this weekend against Kennesaw State. Fans, Texas Farm Bureau Insurance members can get 2 free tickets to Roadrunners football, basketball, and baseball games when you redeem online. Become a Texas Farm Bureau Insurance member and visit goutsa.com/TFP tickets to learn more. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports Network. back out here at Chicken and Pickle. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show. This season, Roadrunner touchdowns mean more than 6 points for every touchdown UTSA scores at home. The Texas Animal Defense League will receive $1,000 thanks to North Park Subaru. Last season, North Park Subaru donated $27,000 to the Texas Animal Defense League thanks to 27 UTSA touchdowns. It's North Park Subaru's TDs for charity. And you can save time after the game by ordering Taco Cabana online at tacocabana.com or on the MyTC loyalty app. Sign up for great rewards and exclusive offers only at Taco Cabana. All right, we talked about NIL a little bit, and that's something we're competing against in this day and age. Memphis got $25 million from FedEx, and that's the barometer that our rest of the schools in the American Conference are trying to strive for.
Yeah, it's the way of the new world. We're really proud of what we've done, but like right now, and I mean we're getting our teeth kicked in by Memphis and South Florida recruiting. They just have 5 times as much as we do, and it doesn't matter how well you recruit nowadays. If you don't have something to offer those guys, you're not going to get them. So I think we'll be competitive with those guys this year, but in the future, it's going to start taking its toll on us when they're getting the players they want and they're beating us out on the guys that we have great relationships with, and we'd be getting. That's been the biggest game changer. It's just if you don't get with it, you're going to get left behind, and things moving really fast.
And we had a big turnout last week and a bunch of money raised at Bob Wills's function with April and Martin downtown at the Marriott River Center.
What a great job again. You know, we sold I think 76 tables the first year, sold 94 this year, but you know, Bob and Peggy and Martin and April and you know, Mike Gillio's my general manager, and Mike sold more tables than anybody in the whole building, and it's not even really his job. But it's the new world, and we've all got to buy into it. That's what's going to work best in this city. As many events as we can do, as much giving back we can do. We've got to get some big corporations involved. We've got to get the biggest powers that be here if you want to keep UTSA relevant. We just got great news with our university. That's going to offer up big things, and I'm hoping someone's going to, you know, big time invest in the football program and put us in that next level of play. We have everything else. We've just got to get that now, and we can't say, well, we're just 13 years old. Hell, they don't care. We got to go. And I'm ready to get going.
All right, this year, the first year college football is going to have on-field communication. So you guys can talk to the quarterback or whoever you want on offense and on defense. How do you see that working, and is that good for UTSA?
You know, I don't know. It goes against what I really believe. I think you should teach students and let students go do what they do. I think you should empower your employees and let them go do what they do. It almost seems like micromanaging to me. I don't want to be having to tell Owen and Eddie everything. What the hell have we been doing all week? I mean, have we not coached them?
Yeah.
I don't want to be telling Jamal every single detail. I mean, he doesn't know. Oscar doesn't know by now. He's been here 5 years. I mean, the game ain't that complicated. I mean, so I kind of push back on that thing a little bit. I think it's going to help the bad coaches more than the good ones because I think the good ones coach their players, and I think the bad ones don't coach very well, so they get a little bit of an advantage so they can just tell their quarterback, okay, they're in cover 6, look to the boundary safety. Oh, they're in cover 2, look to the field safety. Whatever it might be, their key on their play. So I'm not a big fan of it. I wish we didn't even have it. I predict we will have penalties on defense. I mean, because you can't have more than one green light on the field at the same time. So Liggins has a green light, right? So let's say Martavius or Brevin, they also have green lights. Well, when Jamal comes out of the game, we got to go get a helmet out of the bag that has a green light on it and put it on put it on Martavius or Brevin, whoever we're going to talk to while Jamal's taking a break.
Right.
We're going to have 2 green lights on that field at some point. I can promise you. It's going to be a 5-yard penalty on the Roadrunners. I'm going to be madder than a hornet.
Yeah. Do you think it's because of the sign stealing?
But even then, you still can't do that unless you huddle.
Right.
The only way that's going to go away is if you huddle. If you just huddle them all up, and I'd be bored to tears. I can't stand watching that stuff. I want to watch some fun, exciting, fast-paced football. If you want to watch boring huddle, watch the National Football League. I'm not for it.
All right, your vision started 5 years ago. Does it surprise you that you've been as successful as you've been, not only with the wins and losses, but the players you've had to deal with, the family you've created, and the trajectory that UTSA has been on these last few years?
I mean, I've said it a million times, and I know y'all get tired of hearing it, but your dreams should always be so large, your prayer life has to match it, so when your dreams come true, no human can take credit for it. Only the Lord can. This is definitely a godly thing. This thing is bigger than me for sure. To say I'm surprised, that sounds like I didn't expect it, but all this has been really, really amazing. But the bar keeps moving on us. Like every time we get somewhere, whether it's building a facility, whether it's getting coaches pay up, whether it's finally getting 2 collectives going, 3 collectives going, the bar's been moved. Now they can give away $22 million. Each university can. And what does that look like for us? I mean, so the bar just keeps moving. But I know this, every single time I think we're out here, somebody in this community, somehow this city comes through every single time. And I fully expect another miracle is right around the corner. I just don't know where it is or who it's going to be yet.
The Alamo Dome today hosted the pigskin preview for the upcoming season, and Kirk Morrison was here from ESPN, and I was asking him about this new transfer portal rule that's being proposed to not have a spring football season, a spring football transfer portal. I know April 30th is like the worst day in the world for coaches because you never know who you're going to get or lose. And if that goes away, that would benefit everyone, wouldn't it?
Would it? I mean, what's it going to look like in December and January? I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. What are the unintended consequences? You don't know on certain things. Does this cancel bowl season? I mean, do all the kids get in do they get in now and there's no bowls in certain? I don't know. I don't know what this looks like. I really have no idea. It sounds good in principle, but we'll see. We'll see.
How painstaking or mentally exhausting is that day when you know that the deadline is April 30th and you're wondering who's going to stay and who's going to go?
Well, like this year, Joe Evans, who did not ask for anything, just kept telling me this particular school's offer and showing me the contract, and it went from 300 to 350 to 400 to 450 to 500 to 550. It either stopped at 650 or 675. I've kind of got that blurred right now in my mind. But it was a very, very high offer. And you as a coach are sitting there telling Joe, like, you got to go. I mean, this is too much money. You can't be staying here. And he's still here. So it's just nuts. It's just unrestricted free agent, unrestricted salary cap. The business model is not a successful one. We've done a good job, and I'm so grateful for our collectives of just holding this thing together until we get some finality what this is going to really look like.
You're 26-3 in your time here in the Alamo Dome. That's unbelievable, and it's a testament to our fan support.
Yeah, those 3 losses are painful, right?
Yeah.
I know we should be celebrating
29-0, right?
Those things hurt. Our fan base is incredible. They're so passionate. It doesn't matter how many of them are there. A lot of it's made out of what the number is. Whoever's there is passionate. They love the Road Runners. They're loud as can be. And whatever we got Saturday, we'll be grateful and we'll be rocking.
All right. Thanks so much. We'll enjoy this first game and be back here next week to talk about that and get ready for Texas State.
Thanks, Andy. God bless. Birds up.
All right. That's Jeff Traylor. Thanks to all of you for being out here this evening. It's to tell you also about the BMW Ultimate Road Trip. One lucky fan will win the Ultimate Home Game Weekend at the Alamo Dome at our home finale versus Temple on November 22nd. One lucky fan will get a luxurious stay at the historic Maverick Hotel downtown, 2 premium game tickets, a BMW prize, and a dinner as they cruise the city in a gorgeous new electric BMW X7 SUV. Be sure to check out goutsa.com/promotions to register today. It's the BMW Ultimate Home Game Weekend. Thanks to Dan Walters, our engineer out here on site this afternoon and evening. And thanks to Shane Carter, our producer back at Network Control. Have a great evening, everyone. See you Saturday at 12:30 for the Credit Human pregame show. Until then, good night. It's the Jeff Traylor Radio Show on the UTSA Sports.